afternoon. On behalf of YFlow Chairperson Ms. Aarti Shah and her committee, it's my pleasure as Secretary to welcome our speakers Ms. Malini Agarwal, Ms. Mitali Patel, Mr. Rich Epen, Flow Chairperson Ms. Ritu Shah, our esteemed past chairs Flow, YFlow, and our members to today's event, Passion to Profession. Before we begin, can we all rise for the national anthem, please?
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
May I now request Ms. Aarti Shah to come forward along with Ms. Malini, Ms. Mitali, Mr. Rich, Flow Chairperson Ms. Ritu Shah for the lighting of the lamp, please. Requesting YFlow past chairs Ms. Sonali Shah, Ms. Moria Gowda, Ms. Rita Sudana to join as well, please.
Just a second. Super. Just a second, sir, with the permission. Thank you.
May I please call Flow past chairs Ms. Usha Rani Mane, Ms. Monica Agarwal, Ms. Sona Chatwani, Ms. Manjula Reddy, and Ms. Ajita Reddy as well for the photograph. May I now call Ms. Shruti Malpani, Head of Business League Flow YFlow, to come on stage and brief us about the program and also conduct our first session, please.
Are you passionate about your work and want it to be known to others? Do you want to utilize Flow platform to increase your business visibility and have accelerated growth? If any of the answers are yes, then Flow Hyderabad Business League is for you. And of course, YFlow is a part of Flow. Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you to the first session of YFlow Business League. As an endeavor to promote entrepreneurship and professional excellence, our members, Flow Hyderabad chapter opens Flow Business League for its members. It is an opportunity to build business contacts, gain reputation, increase visibility by presenting your work during Business League session, which is to be conducted as part of main speaker event. After all, networking is not just about connecting people. It is also about connecting people with ideas and people with opportunities. Today, we have 4 fellow YFlow members who would be doing their presentations for you. Let us all encourage them by giving our undivided attention. Our first speaker, Akanksha Agrawal for Chhaganlal Fine Jewelers. would be followed by Amrita Agrawal for Kumon. Then Dharani Reddy presenting the box project. And in the end, Shweta Sharda for Kirti Apparels. A round of applause to encourage them.
Jewelry is a timeless treasure that connects generations together. Your jewelry introduces you even before you speak. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Akanksha, creative partner at the Chhaganlal Fine Jewelry. Chartered accountant by profession, turned into a jeweler by passion. We are located at Banjara Hills and we specialize in fine quality gemstone and diamond jewelry. Today, I'd like to unveil our new line, Amulyam, at this wonderful platform. Amulyam in Sanskrit means invaluable or priceless. Mirrors our belief that the value of any jewelry is not confined to its material worth, but is amplified by the lineage, stories, and emotions they carry. We are redefining luxury, not just as a symbol of opulence, but as a celebration of history, art, and deeply personal narratives. Every piece of jewelry is designed in-house with fine quality gemstones and diamonds with world-class workmanship. Amulyam pays homage to heirloom jewelry, which are tokens of love and carriers of legacy. Here's a glimpse of our collection.
लगन लागी रे तो से लागी रे बलम केसरी तो से लागी रे लगन लागी रे तो से प्यार बलम केसरी.
I invite you to celebrate your unique story, create new memories by way of our heirloom jewelry, designed to be cherished for generations to come. Please visit us at our store at Road number 9, Banjara Hills. I'd like to thank Fiki Flow Hyderabad and Y Flow Hyderabad, along with the Business League team, for this wonderful opportunity. Thanks a lot.
How many of you are parents here? How many of you have experienced a heartbreak seeing your children struggle during their maths exam? Do you find yourself wondering why they can't score good marks? Hi, I'm Amrita Agarwal, an engineer turned teacher, an academic strategist, and an entrepreneur. I specialize in helping students conquer maths. Yes, the fearsome, monstrous maths. I just don't teach maths. I make children fall in love with it. That is my superpower. You can find other details about me and how you can also do it in my upcoming book, How Parents Can Help Their Children Score 100 out of 100 in Maths. For now, here's something for you in brief. There are no shortcuts or secret spells that guarantee instant success in maths. I strongly believe that every child has the ability to excel in maths. Imagine your child effortlessly solving their maths problems just like performing magic tricks. Picture your child being called as a maths genius by their friends and teachers. Sounds impossible, right? But I assure you that all this is possible with practice. You might now wonder that if practice is the key, then why do most of the kids struggle? That's where the science behind the practice comes in. A mastery achieved by Kumon, a Japanese learning program. For over 60 years, they have helped students achieve incredible results in maths and English, along with developing focus, concentration, and time management skills in their students. All these qualities bring success in the future. Today, I invite all the wonderful mothers to visit any Kumon center and take a free diagnostic test to discover how can Kumon help your children too. I'm grateful to the amazing Fiki Flow team and the Y Flow team, and especially the chairperson, Aarti Shah, for giving this wonderful opportunity to me today. Thank you so much.
Hi, this is Dharani from the Box Project. We are a gifting company and we cater to all wedding and festival related gift packing and return gifts. We do a lot of personalized hampers for birthdays, special occasions, and any other anniversaries or any other occasions. We take up corporate orders as well, be it welcome kits or any other requirement. We are affordable, flexible, and passionate. As I said, we are flexible. We do not have any prerequisite to order with us. Just tell us your requirement and we will help you out. And what makes us stand out is that we are extremely passionate about what we do. We personally curate every single hamper. We put in our heart and soul into making our clients happy. Here are some beautiful personalized hampers that we did for birthdays, anniversaries, and other special occasions. Now you know who to call when you have an occasion in your life to gift your loved ones. Here is my team. As you can see, it's just me and my partner multitasking and juggling between different roles. Hopefully, with all your love and support, we will expand our horizons and you'll see more faces here next time when I do a business league. So today, I take an opportunity to ask if I could pitch to any hospitals, schools, real estate firms for any kind of retailership collaboration, like new mommy hampers or get well soon hampers for hospitals, new booking hampers for real estate, or welcome kits for corporate offices, etc. And how can I forget our beautiful and fabulous Vicky ladies? So I'll announce a contest, and 3 lucky winners will get a hamper. And of course, all our fabulous ladies will get 20% off on your first bulk order. And the contest would be, this is my Instagram handle, QR code and handle ID. You can join us, you can follow us on Instagram and send me a screenshot on that number, and 3 lucky winners will get a gift hamper delivered. So you have to send me the screenshot by EOD. Better take a picture because this presentation will go off. And thank you, Vicky, Flo, and YFlow Hyderabad for giving me this wonderful opportunity. This is my first year here, and I have an amazing experience so far. Thank you.
What's the first thing people notice about you? Hair, smile, makeup, clothing, right? Yes. Have you heard people describing as ABC की शादी में लाल कलर का कुर्ता पहना था, या वो अंकल याद है जो वाइट कलर का कुर्ता पहने थे? The point is, people not only notice your clothing but also remember you by what you wear. Right? Yes, I am Shweta Sarda from Kriti Apparels. I am a fashion designer by profession. Kriti in Sanskrit means original. I am into this business from past 6 years. We are specialized in minimalistic yet trendy creations, quest to make you look stylish, graceful, and gorgeous forever. Our USPs are ethnic and Indo-Western wear and conversion of old saris to gowns, lehengas, and dresses. Let's have a glimpse. Why Kriti? One design equals to 3 ways of wearing it. Recycling old saris into one-piece gown, ready-to-wear stitched saris. People say first impression is the last impression, but we at Kriti, we believe in making every impression a lasting one. My ask? Need a strong connect with Fashion Design Council of India, Sunil Sethi for fashion shows, wedding packages, customized theme packages, and we are also open for collaborating with 2-tier cities to make our brand pan-India. I would like to end my presentation with this one quote. There is nothing called as a beautiful garment. A garment is beautiful because you are wearing it. And I would also like to thank Vicky Flo, YFlow Hyderabad, and the chairperson Aarti Shah for this wonderful opportunity to showcase my brand. Thank you.
As we come to the close of today's session, I'm filled with sense of profound inspiration and happiness. These presentations have enlightened us about the diverse range of industries presented within our organization. Today, I invite all the members to make the most of the opportunity presented to you by Flow Business League platform. Reach out to your fellow members, explore opportunities for collaboration, and continue to seek and support one another on the entrepreneurial journey. Remember that our network is our greatest asset, and by nurturing it, we can unlock limitless possibilities. For further inquiries in joining the Flow Business League network, do reach out to me or any of the YFlow committee member, and we'll be happy to assist. Thank you.
Thanking all these budding entrepreneurs for coming forward today. Can we have a round of applause for them, please? Our chairperson, Aarti Shah's vision for this year is learn, explore, and execute. The AV team, can we please have the video?
My vision for the year is learn, explore, and execute. Our capacity to learn is a gift. The ability to learn is a skill. The willingness to learn is a choice. It is this willpower that I wish to unleash and inspire. Learning forms the path for new successes and accomplishments. Exploring new opportunities and avenues fuels the learning forward. And lastly, execution propels our growth and development. Through the YFlow platform, I wish to provide the opportunities for learning, exploring, and execution. Our aim is to provide systematic and tailored resources for women to create long-term and sustainable livelihood for themselves and society. I envision to bring events that take forward the mantle of womanhood. Events that bring a change in society. Events that help women identify and accelerate their potential. Every event will pave the way forward for women to lead and thrive, growing the personal and professional bond stronger through networking, bringing impactful influencers and speakers. And of course, the retreat will all provide opportunities that help her excel in business and that take her ability to the next level. With special focus on skill development, sustainable business practices, and long-term growth potential, I wish to raise the bar for every woman here. I aspire to bring together initiatives that leave a large societal impact and bring a positive change for humankind. Initiatives that raise women's sense of self-worth, that maximize their ability to make their own choice. From expanding the green cover by our Go Green initiatives, to learning from industrial visits, to raising the digital and financial literacy, and even making the next generation aware of cyber threats. Every initiative will leave a lasting mark for generations. I intend to give special emphasis to women and children with special needs by organizing impactful programs related to computer literacy and related events to skill and integrate them into society. I am looking to join hands with the police force and educational institutions to educate about cybercrime. I intend to conduct workshops focused on digital education among school children for their brighter future in the digital world. With a year full of learning, exploring, and executing, I wish to be and bring the change we all want to see. Every woman empowered, every woman risen, every woman enlightened. That's my goal for this year. And my vision to learn, explore, and execute shall put together all resources required to achieve that in the best manner possible.
May I now call Ms. Pallavi Jain, Honorable Joint Secretary, to come forward and introduce our speakers today, please.
Good afternoon. It's truly an honor to introduce our brilliant speakers for the day. Malini Agarwal is among the most well-known Indian influencers, as well as the founder and creative director of Miss Malini Entertainment and co-founder of Good Creator Co. She is also the founder of a community for women called Girl Tribe by Miss Malini, which was created to serve as a safe place for women to talk, share, support, empower, network, and inspire each other to live their best lives. Miss Malini's entertainment goal has always been to become a media brand that connects influencers and consumers. Good Creator Co., India's largest and most comprehensive content and creators ecosystem, was founded following an acquisition by the Good Glam Group and the desire to create the ultimate universe for content creators. This community allows content creators to showcase their work, network with one another, and gain access to cutting-edge resources and masterclasses to help them grow and, most importantly, thrive in a community of like-minded peers with the mentorship and support of Malini herself. She is currently working on her second non-fiction book, which addresses the need for empathy and kindness on social media and serves as a guidebook for being a good netizen while dealing with unsavory behavior. More importantly, she lives her life online and believes that she has understood both the risks and the benefits of doing so to be a strong advocate of positivity and prosperity online while highlighting the best the internet has to offer. Her greatest achievement is building a legacy brand in entertainment that stands for substance and positivity. She wants to encourage and inspire young women to live their best lives and aspires to enable them with everything she has built over the last 2 decades. May I now introduce Mr. Rich Eapen, co-founder and COO of revolutionary fintech startup Wild, India's first social currency payments card, a luxury maven and bon vivant. His passion for all things luxe and proficiency in front of and behind the camera has made him one of the most prolific luxury influencers in India, creating digital content for some of the largest luxury brands around the globe. It is my honor to introduce the House of Misu, which is a culmination of the passions of 2 best friends who dreamt of building a brand far greater than themselves. Mitali Patel and Sumaya Shah founded the company in 2009 and have come a very long way since. The power duo has always been the country's most popular influencer and are among the top 10 influencers in India. They are not just influencers, but stylists, designers, and brand ambassadors. A big part of their goal is to inspire and empower every chance they get. Before creating House of Misu, Mitali secured her undergrad from the US and took up a PR gig to get a lay of the land. Today, as established tastemakers in the realm of fashion, travel, lifestyle, and all things luxury, the girls have worked with a commendable assortment of brands. They've had a long-time relationship with the top-tier fashion and beauty luxury brands, which include Louis Vuitton, L'Oreal, Estée Lauder, various travel boards. They have collaborated with many renowned brands and created fantastic content in the process. It's truly an honor to have you all on board, and we look forward to an insightful session.
I now request Ms. Aarti Shah, along with our esteemed speakers, Ms. Malini Agarwal, Ms. Mitali Patel, and Mr. Rich Eapen to grace the dais, please. As part of our Go Green initiative, requesting Ms. Aarti Shah to felicitate our esteemed speakers with green certificates and along with the YFlow memento. Events team, can we have the memento, please? request Chairperson Aarti Shah to come forward and address this gathering.
Thank you, Shreya. A very good afternoon, ladies, esteemed guests, my past chairs, and my dear members. On behalf of YFlow, it's an utmost pleasure to extend a warm welcome to each one of you. Today, we gather here in the spirit of shared purpose as we embark on the memorable occasions filled with knowledge, inspiration, and meaningful connections. Our esteemed members, you are the soul of this organization. Your unwavering dedication, expertise, and passion has been instrumental in our collective achievements. As my vision for the year has been learn, explore, and execute. Everything we do this year will resolve around it and ignite curiosity, fuel our growth, and unlock new horizons. To our distinguished speakers, Ms. Malini, Mithali, and Rich, we are honored to have you among us today. Your remarkable accomplishments, leadership, and invaluable contribution have inspired individuals in our industry and beyond to walk the path not frequently taken. We eagerly look forward to your insight and guidance, and we strive to learn from your wealth of experience. We are gathered here today to celebrate the power of passion and its transformation into the profession. The event, tightly said, Passion to Profession, aims to explore the journey of individuals who have turned their passion into their successful career, inspiring countless others along the way. Before we move on to the event, I would like to just brief you. As FICCI Flow is celebrating 40 years this year, we have Flow Fest Shades of the Shades of Soul, a vibrant event that is going to take place in Delhi on October 26th and 27th. This extraordinary occasion will showcase a captivating blend of visual and performing arts. We request all the members to please actively participate in this. Please register yourself before July 15th. Next, to summarize, we have done initiatives in the month of April of financial literacy at RG Kedia College, collaborating with Ananya Simlai, the Vice President Cluster of HDFC Bank. We aim to empower students with crucial knowledge on managing their finances effectively. Additionally, we created a kiosk on campus, enabling students and the faculties to open their bank accounts. Moving on to the month of May, we focused on hygienic awareness, understanding the significance of menstrual hygiene. We distributed the sanitary napkins in the Gandhi Hospital. We installed the sanitary pad machine, vending machine. Through this initiative, we aim to improve all well-being and overall health of individuals, which often face limited access to such initials. We are going to continue this for a year in the Gandhi Hospital, distributing the sanitary pads. Lastly, in the month of June, we had an International Yoga Day on June 21st. With great enthusiasm, our focus was on promoting a healthy lifestyle and encouraging the practice of yoga, particularly among the children. To achieve this, we distributed the yoga mats to the kids, providing them the tools necessary to embrace this ancient practice. I would urge all the members who've recently joined to please save the FICCI office number to get the updates going on in the organization. Membership is still open for anyone who would like to refer to. A gentle reminder to the members to renew their subscriptions at the earliest. Mark your calendars. Style Tattva exhibition, a Bahubali exhibition, is prepared to be inspired by the fusion of style and sustainability. We look forward to welcoming you and sharing this exciting experience together. Bring your family and friends. Enjoy this enriching exhibition that embodies the essence of sustainable fashion and lifestyle. Lastly, I'm thrilled to announce our YFlow second retreat in the month of November. We are going to Udaipur. Retreat program is carefully designed to provide a perfect blend of relaxation, exploration, and rejuvenation. We encourage you to reserve your spot early and join us for this experience. A huge applause for our Business League owners who participated in the Business League today to educate and inform the community on their business services. Wish you all the best. Not to forget, a big thanks to the sponsors for the staunch support. In conclusion, let's move on and hear from our speakers, their remarkable experience, expertise, and accomplishments. May the connections made here today flourish, and may they continue to support and uplift each one of us in their respective journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aarti. We sure did hear a lot of applause for the retreat, so I think everyone's looking forward for that one, but also a great year from you. On that note, may I request Aarti Shah to start the session?
So my question goes to three of you, not waiting much of the time. It's truly inspiring sitting with so much influence today. I would like to initiate this session by asking you to elaborate the journey that drove you to convert your passion into profession.
First of all, hi everyone. It's so nice to see a room full of such inspiring, enterprising, and just bright, shiny, happy women. So I'd love for you to give yourselves a round of applause for being here and supporting each other. I think we all know very well today that women supporting women is just the best thing ever. And I'll start by saying a line I heard once from Michelle Obama, who said, "You don't need to unscrew anybody else's light bulb to shine." And I think YFlow, Vicky, is a really great example of these endeavors. So congratulations for all of that. It's such an honor to be here. I've had a long-standing relationship with Vicky and YFlow. I just spoke at Amritsar. I've been to Hyderabad before, so thank you for always showing me so much love. I think this is such a great moment for us as influencers as well, when you really get invited to talk about your journeys. You know, people consume our content day in, day out, but what is the reason we're doing what we're doing is because we've had some kind of impact. And this year we completed at Miss Malini Entertainment 15 years, so it's really been a minute on the journey. What I really wanted to tell you about my journey about, passion to profession is, one, it's never too late. And I love that some of the women who presented their business today are so passionate about what they're doing. You know, people tell you all the time that you should start early, or now you're married, or now you have kids, and now the time is up. That's just not true. I also moved to Bombay at the age of 30. I started my business at, 35, 36. So all of this can happen later in life as well. I'm 46 now, and I'm still very happy to say that things are getting bigger and better, and the fact that they can put someone like me on the cover of Rolling Stone India at my age is a good sign. And I think that there is good potential for that. So just coming back to the question, I believe that I turned my passion into my profession because I was really lucky to live in a generation where that was allowed. My parents were in the Foreign Service, my sister is a lawyer, my brother worked in finance, and initially that's what you always pursued: doctor, lawyer, engineer. It was very unlikely that someone would say that, okay, blogger ban jao. Nobody even knew what that was, right? I actually started my career as a professional backup dancer. I danced behind Sukhbir for 6 years, then I moved to Bombay and I joined MTVindia.com, so I used to run their romance content, and then I became a radio jockey for 9 years. And after that, I ran digital content for Channel V. I started my blog on the side because I used to write a gossip column in Midday called Malini's Mumbai 20 years ago. And I got tired of people just telling me that, let's just keep the names of celebrities in bold, kaun aaya, kiske saath gaya, and that's it. And all the interesting things I would see about art, culture, music would always be edited out. And that's when I learned something, and I think this is what I'd really like everyone to take away, is I struggled with this thought that, who am I? Because I'm not a Bollywood celebrity. I'm not a Kim Kardashian. I'm not really a fashion designer or model. So who am I? And am I an imposter in that sense? And very often people tell you that you must have a path to follow and do it like they did it because they have proven that you can be successful in that. And I'm here to tell you that that's not true. If you feel passionate about something and you believe in something, and I see so many amazing small businesses coming up, if it doesn't exist, you can bring it into existence, and then somebody will look up to you as a role model one day. And I think that's what I'm most passionate about today, being a role model for people and saying anything is possible. I wrote my first book called To the Moon, How I Blogged My Way to Bollywood. And it obviously has some fun Bollywood anecdotes, but the truth of the story is that when I moved to Bombay 23 years ago, I didn't know anyone. I had 2 suitcases. I lived in a house with 6 girls and a pigeon, and it used to fly around. And I would be really worried it would hit the fan and there would be blood everywhere. So most Bollywood stories with a pigeon start off quite romantic. Mine was quite horror-filled. But over time, it gave me that, real drive to say, okay, I'm going to make something of myself. And I feel so happy today that I'm able to say that it's fine. Be who you are and be your own original person. And that has always been sort of my pursuit of my passion. And I'm really, really excited that, it worked. And I want everyone to know that if I can do it, I was born in Allahabad, lived all over the world, but if I can move to Bombay at the age of 22 and build a business and be sitting here today as someone who's telling you about my story, that means it can be done and anybody can do it because I had no magic wand. I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have any any mentors and there's no nepotism. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. And I'm super, super excited to hear about all the women's businesses today. And I personally would love to encourage you to share your stories on the Girl Tribe. It's a community of 100,000 women that I run, and they all run small businesses as well. And everyone is very supportive of each other. And if the ladies who have those connect with me after this, I'd be very happy to personally reach out and see how we can help you as well. So that's me, the long version.
Well, first of all, I have to say it's a rare privilege to be the one guy in a room full of strong, powerful, and beautiful women. So yes, I'm very honored to be here. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Rid.
I think now I have arrived. But yeah, you know what? Malini's journey has been inspiring, right? I mean, it's inspiring for all of us who've actually followed her. You know, I have to say, my journey in the social media realm started because she kicked my ass 6 years ago. She is actually responsible for me doing anything. I used to live in Dubai, and I used to run a company between Dubai and San Jose in California. And she used to make fun of me, saying, "How could you, sit behind a desk and do a job, right? Or run a company that's that boring?" But it was true, because I was impatient. And one of the things I have to say about what you said about turning passion into profession is that if you actually can do that, if you can actually do what you love every day, you'll never have to work a day in your life, right? So if you can actually turn your passion into your profession, it'll never be a job, it'll never be work, right? And I always craved that. For me, I wanted to live a life less ordinary. And I always kept pursuing that, not knowing what it was I was pursuing. But at one point, I realized that what I really would have loved to do is do something in the digital media space. And that's how I started. And like I said, Malini was a great a friend and mentor. And that's how I got started. But what I really enjoyed doing within the social media realm was the idea that every day I could wake up and put my voice out there. And I think that's the beauty of the social and digital media space, that every single person has a voice. And if you're able to find it and find a way to put that out there in your own unique way, everybody, honestly, everyone can do something on social media with your own personal brand, or you can create your own personal brand. And this is something that I finally founded a business on. What you see Wild over there, I might talk about it later on. But I truly believe that every single person in this room is an influencer. I truly believe that every single day, we all impact somebody or the other every day. Like if you pick up your phone and check your Instagram, if you have more than one follower, you're an influencer. We don't have to have thousands of followers or hundreds of thousands of followers to be called an influencer. And that's the reality. And so that's my journey. Yeah, I mean, it's been great, but I'm going to let Vitali.
So I think, of course, again, thank you for having me, and it's a great honor to be in the room with all you amazing women, and seeing what you guys are doing right now with your businesses and your lives is just, it's tremendously heartwarming and inspiring. So my journey actually, funnily enough, began before I even graduated high school. If you ever manage to get your hands on my high school yearbook, you will see there's a little note written from Sumaya and me saying, one day we will be in fashion and we will own a mansion together and we will have dogs. No boys, but dogs. And a cat maybe, but this was our vision when we were like 13 or 12 years old. And cut to when I was 21 when we signed our partnership deed and we started House of Misu. And of course, when we started out, there was no such thing as influencers as we see them today. There was no such thing as bloggers in our country as we see them today. There was Miss Malini killing it in her space, but there was no title. There was no real name for it. So when we started out, we had the tremendous support of our families and friends who were like, just go do you. You do you, find your own way, and that's a very fortunate thing. Not many people can can have that. So we were very, very blessed in that regard. And we had the gumption and confidence of youth, firing us from behind. And we were just like, yeah, we're going to go out there. We're going to just do something in fashion. No idea what it was. 21 years old. I had just finished a stint of 1 year working at a PR agency. I was like, I just want to be in this space. I want to be creative. I want to have the freedom to use my voice, use my vision. Because when you're on PR, you very often have to execute someone else's vision within the bounds of the brand's USP. And at that point, I was like, but I think this would be better. I think this brand would really benefit from this and this and this. And that's how Sumaya and I were just like, let's do something. Let's start this on our own and let's figure it out. So we've been everything from designers, where we had our own label, and it did really well until we just basically burnt out, because as I'm sure a lot of you fashion designers would know, it's very difficult to work with artisans and things when your means are limited. And we were, again, 21 years old, our means were very limited. But we've had a fashion label. We've designed jewelry collections. Our motto at that time was just don't say no. As long as it's within your realm of acceptance, it wasn't anything that went against your beliefs. Don't say no. Don't be scared. Figure it out along the way. And that is how we learned everything we did. We figured it out on the way. Sumaya and I would sit on a train to Surat alone, go to the markets, buy fabric, buy raw material, buy beads, buy string, come back, go into the market and ask people, can you please recommend a good tailor? Can you please recommend a good, karigar? And that's how we created our first fashion line called House of Misu, which we sold at exhibitions. So our entire motto was just don't say no. The first designer who came up to us and was like, can you style our entire campaign? And Sumaya and I had never done it before. We had never styled anything before. We used to do some Bollywood styling, but that's a different animal altogether. We'd never done a brand campaign. And we said yes. We left that meeting. I remember standing on the road, and we were in Bandra on a crossroads. Sumaya and I were standing next to this chana wala. And we were just looking at each other. Sumaya looked like she was on the verge of tears. She's a little more sensitive than I am. And she was just like, Mithali, what are we going to do? We said yes. How are we going to do this? And we just stood there, literally at this point, I think we were 23, holding each other. It's a very well-known brand, and these were individuals from upper class Bombay society, page 3, very, very intimidating. And I was like, Sumaya, I don't care, we're going to do it. Figure out, we're going to do it. And that's how we sort of build up our brand, just by saying yes. And people started to take us more seriously that way, because we weren't just those two girls who take pretty pictures. We were girls who could execute projects. And it doesn't come from, hiding behind someone else's opinions of you. It's from actually just taking that step, no matter how scary it is, and doing it. So that's how, two 21-year-olds, I'm now 34, have been in this industry for as long as we have. And fortunately, I've had God's good grace of, making a name for ourselves. We've been everywhere. I've had a very, very fantastic journey, and I'm a mother. So I've also started to appreciate more the value of the industry in a way where it can guide the youth in a positive way. So we are obviously trying to be a lot more mindful. But it all comes down to using your voice in an impactful way, a safe way, and using it to build something more. So yes, I have my platform, House of Misu, but it's all the projects that I'm doing individually and all the lives that I'm touching individually that mean 1,000 times more to me than anything that, that's online, really. It's when I get that message online, or when someone comes up to me at a mall or, at an airport and says this really meant a lot to me, or, I saw this video and I was going through something similar, or, this really helped me get through this. And that's what really, really gets me. And that's why I've stuck with this industry for as long as I have. And then using this industry, which I recommend to all of you who are on social media platforms, using this industry to then propel your brands, your endeavors, your services, everything forward. That is what social media is really. Don't look at it as just a place to come and get fashion tips and, get beauty tips. Look at it as a place to really boost your brands and it can do a world of good for you. Don't let it get into your head and make you think like, oh, everyone's lives are so beautiful, because they're not. Use it as the tool that it is. It is a business tool, and use it as such.
All right, I know Aarti was not prepared for this, but I'm going to involve her in this conversation. She said, I'm just going to ask a question and pass it on to you, but that's not going to happen because, Aarti, you are the chair here. And I absolutely loved a couple of things that I've already seen today. Some of the presentations today, I really resonate with being HR, admin, like all the roles that two people do. Even me and my co-founder, literally, we started Miss Mani Entertainment, two people on a sofa. So we hear you and we know how hard it is. And I think that's pretty genius the way you put it up there. And I hope everybody's entering her contest and took a screenshot of that. I also absolutely loved Aarti when we were discussing your 3 pillars, which are learn, explore, and execute. And I really wanted to make today's session valuable to everyone here in whatever stage of life they are, whether you're running a business, whether you're just having to deal with people for whatever reason, or you're working on committees. There's something that you can learn from everyone. But instead of us just going on about our experiences and stories, we really want to make it valuable to you. So first, Aarti, I would like to understand where you came up with these 3 pillars. And then let's have a conversation where we can talk about all of our learnings, how we execute, and what we're looking to explore.
Thank you so much. I'm truly inspired by the insights you've given us today. Learn, explore, and execute has been since long. I always followed that. I always wanted to learn things first, then try to execute and explore it, and then execute it. So it's my motto since long. So I have taken this vision for my term for this year.
I love it. I think that should get a round of applause. I think that's super powerful. I believe a lot in, things like switch words and manifesting and even the way that you place it. So let's start. Usually it's ladies first. Today we'll do gentlemen first, all right? All right. So Rich, I'd love to start with, like you said, you've had such an incredible journey. And as Rich said, I've known him for such a long time. And he's very enterprising. He was, even ran a restaurant and nightclub in Bombay before he moved to Dubai. He's done so many different things. And it just goes to show it. At what age did you start, what age did you start as an influencer?
I think I was 42.
At 42.
Yeah,
So
42,
just imagine,
43,
there's no certain age bracket that people think it's only a Gen Z thing. So if I were to ask you what has been your greatest learning on this journey of becoming an influencer, as an influencer, if you could impart one piece of knowledge to young Rich at 20 as an influencer, what would it be?
I think the most important thing would be to, I think there are a couple of important things, but I think the most important thing is to not set out to be an influencer, just set out to find your voice and put your voice out there. I think this whole pursuit of becoming an influencer so that you can convert it into a monetary kind of situation, I think that's where most people make a mistake. I think if you just find a way to identify what you're really good at and find a way to communicate that and put that out there on social media every day, because consistency is key. I think that is the most valuable lesson that you could learn. Eventually, success will come, financial returns will come, but I think the most important thing is to kind of find your voice and put that out there as opposed to trying to be an influencer.
Yeah, that's true. I guess let's give that a round of applause. I think that's very well noted. I also love that there are people here taking notes. I'm one of those people who always take notes. Very valuable skill. All right, Mithali, I have watched your journey, and it's been incredible to see just bigger and better things. Love the jewelry, the versatile jewelry that she's wearing. That's how many years old now, this collection?
Oh, God. This was my Shazé collection I did. I think it was like 6-7 years old.
That's amazing
It's a
and so
while,
timeless.
yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
it just takes the skill. And I think one of the things that you said that stood out to me is never say no and try everything. And sometimes when somebody asks you, can you do this? The first reaction is, nahi, ye to mujhe nahi aata, or I don't want to, let me be honest with you. Sometimes, how they say, fake it till you make it, or hustle hard. You have it in you. So I would love to know from you, same question. Looking back now, if you could, go back in time to those 2 girls who were standing next to the chanawala, discussing, are we going to be able to do this, nearly in tears. What would you say now? What have you learned in this journey up till now in the last 16 years?
I've definitely learned to not look at myself through the lens of how I think people are looking at me, because not everyone is going to like what they see. So it's obviously something that you have to take with a pinch of salt, because when you put yourself out there, you're opening yourself up to a lot of people's opinions and things. So I think I would tell my younger self, like, don't bother with the haters. Focus on the value that your followers are bringing to you as well. When you get the DMs and the messages, and when someone comes up to you, focus on that. And you can't please everyone, so that's okay. And as an example, so Sumaya, she is Muslim. She married a Gujarati. And, we had a lot of opinions from followers. We had people writing into us, a lot of negative things, to the extent where I literally had to ban Sumaya from Instagram for a while. And I would then go through all the DMs myself and filter it out because I didn't want her to read it. So I would definitely, now even when she sees negative things, it's like, we brush it off. It's no big deal. Of course, sometimes it is, but it's not as painful as it was when we were younger. So I would have told myself to not take everyone's opinions so seriously out on the digital platforms.
I think that's amazing. I think that's something that we should give a round of applause to as well, and a good note to self for everyone.
Mental health.
Mental health. I think if I were to ask myself this question, Malini, what would you say? I genuinely think that the one most important skill I have learned in my entire career and all the different jobs I've done is be a better witness to other people. Now, in business, always people say hustle, move forward. But the most important and most valuable way to become memorable to anyone is ask about them. Whether it's a business meeting or the first interaction you have, everyone is, trying so hard to, sell their product or tell about themselves or whatever it is. And I always give this example. I always tell people on social media, don't be that guy who goes to a party, puts his pictures everywhere and leaves without talking to anyone. Nobody would like that guy. But we do that on social media all the time, where we don't engage with someone and we just, talk about ourselves. There's a quote I repeat very often, and it's in my book as well. It's from a movie that was not that great, but the quote is great. It's from Shall We Dance? And it says, at that point, there are 7 billion people on the planet, now 8 billion people on the planet. So what does one life really mean? And in marriage or a friendship or any kind of relationship or even a business partnership, I'm saying I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there for the good, the bad, the ugly. Your life will not go unnoticed because I will notice it. Your life will not go unwitnessed because I will be your witness. And that's what everybody wants. They want a witness. And just like we were saying earlier when you were presenting your businesses, people remember, wo lal kurte wala uncle, ya white kurte wala, is because they, they got witnessed by wearing something or being a certain way, whether it's fashion or jewelry or how you present yourself. So it's really important to do two things. Be a better witness. When you meet someone, even in a business environment, the first thing you should do is ask about them. Repeat their name out loud so you remember it, because that's a terrible habit that I had to break where I couldn't remember people's names. If you say their name twice in the conversation, you will remember it. And less people will come up to you and say, you don't remember my name. And the second thing is, whatever you're putting out into the world, you want everyone to witness you, but what are you making them witness? And as I'm getting older, I guess I'm getting a little more spiritual about stuff, and I want to have more of a footprint of kindness and empathy. And I think that, what's one thing that I think women especially have, such a high EQ and that an understanding of an emotional quotient, you're capable of creating so much kindness and positivity and love. And I would never shy away from, infusing that into your business, right? I think that's fair. So let's move on to the next piece of this, okay? I think it's so important also to understand how a world of influence works. And I know now influencers don't like this word anymore. We like to be called content creators because influencers have got the same mixed reviews as feminism, So you can't say I'm a feminist anymore. You have, because people will say negative things about it. So same thing, you can't say influencer, content creators. But I would really like to know, if I were to ask you to define your content today, what would you say you are trying to create? What is the content you're trying to put out in the world, and who is it for? Because I think that's something that's super helpful for any brands that are creating content, or even individuals, is understanding your TG. You'll come across this word, your target audience a lot, target demographic. And the other one is, who are you? And after this, I'm going to make everyone do a little exercise I learned at Malaysia Social Media Week. But why don't we start with, who are you? What is your content supposed to be? Whether it's, and we'll talk about Wild in a bit, and who is it for?
Oh, that's a good question. I think in the life of, or I think there'll always be a life cycle, right? I think when you start off, you put out stuff because it's something that you resonate with. It's something that you want to put out, right? Eventually, as you keep going along, well, this is the same for a brand. As a brand, when you start off, one of the most important things you want to do is awareness, right? And then comes education, how this will help them. And then comes, benefits, all of that. But as you progress, I think one of the most important things to understand is you will have a certain set of followers who will come and stay with you, and you will have a certain set of followers who will come and drop off because they find less resonance than they had initially, right? But I think what's most important to kind of, as a thumb rule, is to stick to your basics in a couple of things. You have to obviously address what people need and give them what they want, but stick to some basics, right? You can never be inauthentic. You can't change yourself because you think that's what your audience wants to hear. Because soon, a large part of that audience will leave because you're no longer that person that you started following or that brand that you started following. I think authenticity is the biggest commodity that we've probably lost in the process of social media or the evolution of social media. I think today one of the big reasons why, like Malini said, people don't want to call themselves influencers is because that viewers or people that consume the content no longer think that influencers are authentic, which I think is a really sad place to be. But it's not for everybody, right? Because there might be people that follow a process, do their work, do great stuff, like the two ladies here who've actually done phenomenal stuff. And then there will come people who are, out there purely for, monetary reasons or whatever, right? But this is the same for a brand. If you have a brand and you have a brand page that you're trying to promote, I think one of the most important things to understand is that you cannot take yourself away and try and cater to only your audience. You still have to be a part of that. Your voice has to resonate. I think that is the most important thing, I think, from a distinct perspective, yeah.
Awesome. Mitali, I have a slightly different question for you, and I think this will be really relevant to everyone there's so many women, I think, also in this community that are in the world of fashion and jewelry and design, and it's so competitive. There's so much out there, right? And you have to stay relevant and new. And it's almost like every page I swipe, I'll see so many options, and I love that. And little plug for the event that you have coming up, your pop-up, Style Tattva, which is happening on the 22nd and 23rd of July. Don't miss it. I love the idea of homegrown brands. But what is your advice to homegrown brands, young brands? What is the best way they can use social media? Because we all know, honestly, it is very saturated. There's so many social media handles. So many people already have so much following. How does a new brand actually use social media to any real value and benefit, in your opinion?
So from my experience, because we work with a lot of brands, and if you look at our page, you'll actually notice that we do work with a lot of indigenous, homegrown labels. What makes them stand out, not just on platforms, but even to us, when we see the pieces and we see the quality and the authenticity and the love and the story behind it. When there's a story backing your brand, and all brands have a story, you just have to know how to tell it. So when there's a good story backing your brand, that already sets you apart. Because at the end of the day, when a consumer is looking at the page, what they're seeing is just garments, right? How do they distinguish between this sari and this kurta and this anarkali? To them, these are garments, and they're going to pick what they think suits their personality. But what you've got to sell is your story. What you've got to sell is the dream of the woman wearing that garment. So it all comes down to marketing. So the right way of marketing your product is what will set you apart. Of course, we can easily say content is king, but creating content isn't the easiest thing on planet Earth. I know that. I deal with it every day. But something as simple as going on your page, and even as the designer, as the creator, putting up a little video, telling your story, can already set you apart from the masses. So I would highly recommend that you do that. And then small things. So I'm partnering with a jewelry brand, and I'm buying stake in it, and I'm becoming, I'm taking on the entire marketing of it. So marketing is a very exciting thing for me. It gets my blood pumping. And this is what I told them as well. I was like, how do you set yourself apart from, the APM Monacos and the Carrot Crushes and things of the world if you want to be a global fine jewelry brand, but for like the Gen Zs and for the younger generations who can afford it? How do you do it? Simple things. Firstly, your story. Secondly, create a memorable way of delivering your product, whether it's the packaging, whether it's the bag, whether it's a note, whether it's just something that when that thing comes into the person's hand, they will always remember it. And then they will think of it when they're gifting. They will think of it when they're having a conversation. Oh, by the way, do you know I ordered XYZ, and do you know how it came? And it becomes a topic. So, small things like this will set you apart from the other brands. Also, I studied color theory in college. I'm also a fine arts student. And one of the things I learned, and it's always stayed with me, is colors instill emotions. They inspire feelings. Why do they tell you wear a blue tie when you go in for your interview? Right? Because blue has a very powerful impact on the person sitting in front of them. It projects confidence and emotional stability and joy. So thinking of the colors that you might put in your content or in your packaging, or these are things that will also help you stand apart. These are small things, but it's the small things that make you, the better from the rest, the rabble. So yeah.
Sorry,
I think
I'd
some
like to
really
add to
gold.
that.
Yeah, go for it.
Mithali was so right. Story is such an important part of delivering a brand message. Over the last few years, you've actually seen the storytelling kind of marketing has worked so well, as opposed to your traditional, out of home or any other sort of medium. But one of the things that actually kind of heighten that is people love seeing people. If you can put yourself as a founder or someone that's created a brand or the designer or whatever that may be, if you can put your face out there, it will have a much larger resonance with your audience than anything else that you do, whether it's a reel or a picture or whatever. But if you can put yourself out and saying, telling people that this is my story and this is how I tell my story. There's a brand called Suta, a sari brand that I came across. These two sisters, and they do a phenomenal job of it. They run their company openly. They say that this is what we're doing today. This is how this is our new collection that's come out. We've got a new store opening. And I think it's a brilliant example of how you can take a brand and make it a person. If you can actually make your brand sound like a human, an individual, people will look at you or your brand like an individual. Because there's a little disconnect when people look at brands. You don't feel love for a Nestle, right? You don't feel love for a Unilever or a Johnson & Johnson. But you will love the person if you resonate with that person. So yeah, I think it's a part of the brand
I think
story.
it's absolutely right. And now I'm going to make you do that exercise I did at Malaysia Social Media Week. And it's a really valuable one. It's a really simple one. You have to figure out your one-word bio. And you can do this for yourself if you're trying to be an individual influencer, or you can do it for your brand. So you have to really, and you sometimes think, okay, what is this one word that could describe me or encompass who I am? How it's too difficult. But there's another great video I saw by this internet sage called Jason Silva, and he says your true passion lies at the center of 15 things that you're the most curious about. So you could do those two exercises. Write down 15 questions that you're really curious about. But if you already have to find the brand that you want to be, but if you already have a brand or are a brand, ask yourself these questions. Think about the kind of movies you like to watch, the books you like to read, the company you keep, the things that inspire you, and you will find one word starting to pop up at you. It might be adventure, it might be love, it might be excitement, it might be whatever that word is that comes to you. And then you have to look at your entire brand and messaging through that lens and make yourself that checklist. Is that everything that I'm putting out, does it seem true on brand? Because just like Raj and Mithali was saying, you need to infuse into a product or your brand, the human qualities. If you've seen this movie, this cartoon movie I love called Inside Out, and they talk about all the different emotions, great film. And it really makes you think about what we love about people. And, you know, one of the things that I'm writing my second book, it's called Under the Influence, and I really feel that we need to make a little shift. We need to unlearn. We need to unsee the number and start seeing the people. Right now, we look at our Instagram post and we say, okay, 20, 30, 100, 400 number count. But we forget that these are human beings. So as a result, we have less empathy for them, and they're also not looking at us as complete, you know, five-dimensional human beings. So I think it's really important to instill that human quality into your brand. And there's a couple of great examples of this. I remember years ago, somebody had tweeted, this is when everybody was on Twitter, this girl tweeted saying, I follow both Oreo and Kit Kat. I must really love chocolate. So Oreo challenged Kit Kat to a tic-tac-toe match for her affection. And they got so many likes and follows on that because it was such a really nicely done and it resonated so well. Similarly, one year, I think McDonald's and Jeep got hacked, again on Twitter. And so when everything was back and they put other people's brands on it, they came back and said, okay, should we go get a burger? And Jeep said, I'll drive. So it just added that human quality. And I love this. There's so many ways for you to instill your personality. And exactly like Rich said, you are the first and best champion of your brand. And for me, when I started out, there was no concept of influencer or creator. I actually made this anime of myself because I thought, she'll age better than I will. So let's go with that. And over time, I've realized that you can be like the personal brand. Tomorrow, if you are a brand yourself, you are the influencer yourself, you'll be able to really grow and build that out. I know that, Aarti, you have another question for us. And then I want to talk a little bit about some incredible projects that both Mithali and Rich have been working on. And I want to tell you a very inspiring story about next generations, which is Rich's daughter. But I would love to hear your question first.
So in this dynamic world of social media, where do you see yourself beyond Instagram? What is the next stop virtual brand management?
Beyond Instagram. I'm pre-Instagram, so I love this question because when I started out, there was no Instagram. I actually moved to Bombay in 2000 with an alphanumeric pager. I didn't even have a cell phone. And I was so happy that it was alphanumeric because you would get a whole sentence, then you had to run to a PCO and call them back. Like that was max. There was no texting. And I'm that generation, you made a call and you made a plan on a landline. If you didn't show up, there was no way to text someone that, okay, let's, rain check it. I think I see myself beyond Instagram in the real world. I always tell people I want to live IRL in real life. And I love meeting people and looking into their eyes and having that conversation. I genuinely believe all platforms, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, whatever has gone and whatever is going to come, are just a means to amplify our ability to connect with other people on a scale that's not otherwise humanly possible. I can have 50,000, and I'm notorious for making WhatsApp groups. Raise your hand if you're like me. Any excuse, new WhatsApp group, yeah. Literally, I have like 400 with my best friend. But it's, because I can make plans with various people, and I love that about, these things where you can add 5 people and you message them one meme in 3 months and you're still connected. You can't do that in real life, right? So I love using technology to give myself superhuman skills that I would not be able to pull off in real life. So I very much see myself beyond that by saying I'm going to continue to use all the tools of technology to try to live my best life and connect with as many people as I can.
Well, as she rightly said, when we all started out, there was no Instagram. I started out in my line of work in the time of Facebook. So it was a different world. Instagram came soon after, but even when it came, content was very different then. I remember posting like random street style pictures of other people. It wasn't even me. So it was a very different beast back then, but now it's a means of connecting with absolute strangers from across the world and having some kind of impact on them or vice versa, learning new skills. Like my whole agenda now, because I find myself scrolling aimlessly quite frequently, and I feel like a lot of us do that now because it's literally become second nature. It's like breathing. You wake up and you start aimlessly scrolling. So my entire agenda now is to end doom scrolling and try to only look for information or content which gives me meaning, whether it's learning a new skill, learning about a new industry or a new tool, something that's more uplifting rather than just doom scrolling. So I definitely want to get a bit more offline. And because this is my work, I do spend a lot of time online and have a 2-year-old son. And when I'm with Krish also, sometimes I find myself, just randomly without even realizing my hand has started scrolling. So I want to get more offline, but having said that, I see where the future is. I see what's happening, and I'm not going to let myself get left behind. I do recognize that, the entire realm of AI, ChatGPT, virtual reality, it's a very realistic next step. So if that is something that's coming up, yeah, I'm there, because we're all living in this very tech forward world, and in order to be on top of any industry that you're in, you want to utilize the highest level of tools that are at your disposal. So yeah, if that's what's next, I'm up there in it, doing it.
And in fact, Ridge, I think this is a great time to talk about your new endeavor, because what I think you're doing with Wild is that next step beyond what happens on Instagram. So would you like to tell us about it?
Sure. So, obviously, I actually started using social media before you, it looks like. Maybe not you. I think the first time I used Facebook was back in 2005 or 6 when they had just started. And at that time, I used to have a restaurant in Bombay. And we used to have these massive nights on Fridays. And we had to find a way to promote it. Now, Facebook had just come out. I had, in 2000, maybe 6, it came to India. And I said, you know what, I have a bunch of my friends here. And at that time, there were no influencers. No one was using Facebook for anything but connecting with friends that you went to college with, which is pretty much what it was, right? And I said, you know what, let me tell all my friends in Bombay about this big night happening. And suddenly, I had this medium where I could reach a whole bunch of people in one shot. And this was the time of BlackBerry Messenger, if you remember. But of course, you're not connected with everybody, right? And so it became, that was one tool that I used at that time. And then Instagram came, and I started using Instagram 10 years later. Tomorrow, there is going to be something else. The reality is digital is here to stay whether you like it or not, right? What we want to do is to learn how to be better in real life as opposed to be all the time in the digital world, right? Like Malini said, and Mithali said as well, you want to disconnect, once in a while, but the reality is that's where we're going. AI is something that I've actually been learning for the last 6 months, and I use ChatGPT every day. I've taught my entire team to use ChatGPT, and they're churning out stuff like amazingly. So I think that first part of the question is that. Now, what I'm building is super interesting because for me, that was evolution. We all are in the influencer space. We are probably less than 0.1% of all of the people on social media. Today, there are about 450 million Instagram users in India. Social media users in India, of which there are 200 million people on Instagram, right? What we said is that we form a very small number. What about everybody else? All of them have, like I said earlier, right? I believe everybody has influence. I wanted to build a platform that allows anybody on social media to monetize and leverage their social network just like influencers. So we built a platform, and a payment card. So it's a fintech platform that basically allows anyone with as little as 1,000 followers to now start making money every time they shop, which means we built a Visa-powered payment card, which you can use instead of your bank credit card or debit card. You can use, so my brand is called Wild, and you can use the Wild card to make your purchases. And you have, I think we all talk about followers and number of followers, but that, you can't verify the veracity of how many people's followers are authentic, how many are real, all of that, right? So what we did is we built an algorithm that rates users or assigns a score to users based on your number of followers, your reach, your engagement, your frequency of posts. I think a lot of people undervalue the power of frequency. You could have 1 million followers and stop posting for the next 3 months, and your reach will drop. Or you could, so we built this algorithm that tells us what your social score or what your social health is. And so this score determines your value. So you could have 100,000 followers and very bad engagement or crap engagement, and you'll have a low score. Or you could have 5,000 followers or 3,000 followers and have all your friends and family following you, so everybody's very engaged with you, and you could have a high score. So using this card, the wild card, you can make your purchases. We have hundreds of partner brands. After you've made that purchase, you have the option to take a picture, post about it on your Instagram, and you can earn anywhere from 30% to 100% of your transaction value back based on your score. So your score determines your cashback. So this is the next evolution as I see it, because there are two fundamental beliefs on why we're doing this. One, like I said, we believe everybody is an influencer. And two, for all of the women here that have brands, there's no better evangelist for your brand than your own customer. If you can convert every single person that walks into your store or goes to your e-commerce portal and makes a purchase, if you can convert all of them into your marketers, you'll never need to spend on marketing again. In fact, we'll be out of business, right? But that's the reality. But very few people actually go out and tell all their friends. Every time you go to a jewelry store and you buy everything, you don't call every single friend and say, I bought a piece of jewelry, right? But what if we could get every single customer to do it because you're incentivizing them to do it, right? That's the power of social currency. So what we're building is not a card, it's not a platform. It's the idea that your social currency is your influence. Your influence has value. We're just assigning a value to your influence. So we're building a social currency platform. So we're building actually the world's first social currency payment card. That's wild.
Congratulations. All right, I don't know how much time we have left. Do we 5 minutes? All right, so I'm going to ask Mithali a question, and then I will ask myself a question. How about that? So Mithali, I think that one of the things that I've learned over the years about building brand and being relevant is that if you can be relevant to more than one generation, then you have made it as a brand. And congratulations to you that you have, I think, covered from baby boomer, millennial, now Gen Z, right? So that's 3 generations. I think I would love to know from you, what has been probably that secret sauce? What is it about your brand that kept you relevant? Because we've seen so many brands come, they go, but how do you survive? Once you cross that decade mark, you know how we're like, oh, I think I finally made it now, and everyone's like, oh, look at your overnight success. You're like, yeah, it only took 10 years. So what is it that you feel has been the secret sauce? And if you were to give anyone here advice on staying power, what would that be?
So firstly, I don't think there's any one solution for all problems. I think it's very individualized. But for us, what I found was I am who I am. Like the person you see before you is the person, aside from the fact where, as you said, you look a little different than social media. But at the end of the day, my voice is my voice. The way I speak is the way I speak. My life, you know the kind of things I like, the kind of things I stand for, the kind of things I would not stand for. We've always been very strict on certain things that, if it goes against certain beliefs or policies, we just won't do it. We won't work with those brands. So from the very word go, we've always been very firm on who we were. And I think that has helped because it makes us stand apart from the rest, right? Because there's no other Mithali Patel / Sagar. There's no other Sumaya Shah / Patni. Like, this is who we are. This is House of Misu, and this is what we've always been and we always will be. And that voice resonates across generations because we're just people at the end of the day. I'm not my age. Someone who's 15 may look at my outfit and be like, oh, I love that and I want to wear that. Someone who's 45 may look at it and say, I love that, I want to wear that. So it's not about an age thing. It's more about just being true to the person you are, having a clear voice and putting out a good message. Always just being very, very relatable. I think that's the key.
I love that. And I think what you said really resonates with me about not being a age or a number. And I think more and more as I'm getting older, I'm feeling this, right? Like I'm approaching 50. And I think that one of the things I realized, and I was actually telling my husband this, I'm like, I won 20 under 20, 30 under 30, 40 under 40. Now there's only one left, 50 under 50, then it's over. And I think this is so true for women especially. Most people, brands, companies, world in general, starts to write you off, right? The ads are not targeted at us, they're targeted at who has ever played badminton in white pants during their period, I would like to know. Nobody does that. You know what I mean? But all the ads are this, yeah, you know, or even in general, I'm curled up with a hot water bottle. But in general, I feel that one of the things that is so great about communities like this, and why I also started Girl Tribe, even though my mother is in it and she's 86, is that you are not your age as per number. It's how old you are in your mind. I know some 20-year-olds who are very tired and old, much older than me, emotionally and mentally and physically. So one of the things that I'm working towards, also what's next for me, is I do want to launch a list that's 40 over 40. And only if you have crossed 40 can you be on this list. Because I feel I've accomplished so much more in my life now than I ever did in my 20s. And especially as a woman, I was my most insecure self in my 20s. At this age, in my 40s, I wear sunscreen, I take care of my skin, I drink water, all the things I didn't do then, and I'm much more aware of who I am. And what I really want to tell all the women in this room is don't let subliminal messaging, the media, or any part of this patriarchy let you feel any less than you feel today. It's only getting bigger and better. And all of us are just walking around in these human vessels, and yes, everybody gets older, but the rules and the beliefs should not be different for men than they are for women, you know? So I think that we need to change this narrative, and we need to do it for each other as well. So let's not tell each other, oh, but you're too old to do this, or you're too old. And don't let yourself tell yourself that either. And be the biggest champion for another woman. And my mom does this. She's 86. She goes, "Nahi beta, ye main long wali earrings bridge khelne jaungi to log kahenge ki is umar mein aise earrings pehni hai." I'm like, "Mom, you're 86. You're off playing bridge. You're casually winning at life." She's driving herself to Gymkhana Club and worried how people will still perceive her. And it never ends, you know? So we have to change this narrative. This is really what I would say. And finally, I would love for everyone to do this little exercise that I think really works. I'm sure a lot of you know each other already pretty well, but I would love for you to turn to someone to your left or someone to your right, and I want you to say, you know how we talk about passion to profession, but I want you to say it as if you already do it. So not I'm going to do this, but say I'm a successful fashion designer, or I am a New York, you know, best record-selling author, whatever it is that's on your dream plate, right? And I want you to take a minute now and say to the person next to you something that you are in a future version of yourself. And I promise you it'll play a small role in taking you from passion to profession. Everybody ready? 3, 2, 1, go for it.
What did he say?
He said, I'm going to be on a yacht in 10 years.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it. I will own that yacht.
I'm going to own that yacht and the helicopter that lands on it.
We'll be
I'll
waiting
use
at
the
each
other
other.
one.
But tell me yours, genuinely.
God, I have so many though. Like, where do I begin? I'm writing a children's book. I mean, that was. Oh,
yes.
Thank you for this brilliant, insightful session. As part of Guest the Speaker, which was posted on our YFlow Instagram page, may I ask Miss Malini and Mithali to pick the winner?
So I'm just telling you what's happening here. I suggested something, and Aarti was very sweet to do this. We said we're going to pick a winner who's going to do something called a boss lady speed date. Just do? Oh,
Yes, yeah.
The ladies got to pick. So basically what I feel in situations like this, when you hear a panel, very often you have questions that you have very specific to yourself. So we wanted to try to see if we can impart some help and knowledge to whoever are the winners here to spend 5 minutes with each of us. So we'll do a speed date, but boss lady speed date. So you speak to Mithali, me, and Rich, and ask your genuine questions about your business and how you can grow and help, and hopefully that'll help move the needle forward. So you get to announce the names. How about that?
All right, the first is Kanupriya Tibravala.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Okay. Can you please stay back after the session for the one-on-one? We also have 2 winners from our WhatsApp group. Oh, we have another name, sorry.
There's one more. Yeah, okay. And the second is Sunidhi Maheshwari Inani? Srinidhi. Sorry.
So basically, after this session, we're going to spend some one-on-one time with you, and there's one more winner, I believe.
We
right?
have 2 more winners.
2 more winners.
Do you want to announce them as well? Okay, sure. This Miss Sandhya and Miss Sonali Agarwal, they are the winners from our WhatsApp group. We request them to stay back as well. We now open the session for Q&A. Any questions?
I see a hand shot up in the back over there. They're getting you a mic. By the way, I loved how much people were talking in that session. If you're not finished your conversation after the session, make sure you complete it and hear the other person's dream also.
Hi, I'm Arpita. I'm the founder of the Board Story. I curate charcuterie tables and boards. And my question is, how do you respond to people who call you, and I'm talking about big brands, and they want to collaborate, but they don't want to pay you? So, and they specifically tell you that we don't want any commercials involved, but we want to collaborate with you. And I'm talking about really big brands, big designers. Like, what do you say to them?
You want to take this there?
I think it's subjective because, of course, I collaborate with a lot of designers who don't pay me. They've become my friends over the last few years. Of course, you also have to look at brand value. So if there's a value add working with a particular brand, then we would do it. But if you feel like there's no brand value and it's very one-sided, then very respectfully, you're completely permitted to say that, you know, I run a business, I pay salaries, I have a brand to maintain, and I unfortunately can't afford to take on a barter assignment at this time, and maybe we can look at doing something in the future. Just a very respectful, you know.
I also find, like, honestly, I do find that if you have the conversation with, see, they want your amazing charcuterie board. You need to be very candid and be, you know, don't be bullied or scared. Ask, what am I getting out of this? Are you getting branding at the venue? Are you able to put your business card in all the take-home bags? Because I have seen, honestly, because I work with a lot of brands and we actually order a lot of cheese and charcuterie tables, so I will take your number. But very often people will be like, where's this from? And then the number gets passed on and business can be generated. So I wouldn't have just a one-dimensional view on it, but make sure you ask, what do I get from this? But I'm also a great believer in having those first conversations. Just like Mitali said, very often you'll do one collaboration, they'll be so happy. The next time they will pay you. You know, so don't do it unlimited forever for free just because it's a big brand, because you need to have the visibility there. If you're getting great visibility, then great.
But also it's food. So, like, if I'm
for
posting...
food, that doesn't matter. For example, I've done events, and when I was younger, Sumaya and I had done this event called, oh my God, I forgot the name. Sorry, I'm having a brain freeze. So anyway, it was a only women's shopping and beauty pre-game event where you would come, you would shop a bit, I'd collaborate with brands, I'd collaborate with beauty labels, there'd be a place for you to do your hair, your makeup and things, and then you drink a few drinks and you go out partying. So for that, we used to collaborate with a lot of food brands who would come in and do it. But you have to ensure that, you know, they've got their logoed tissues, their logoed, you know, accoutrements, whether it's the tray, whether it's some kind of display that they've set up, something that gives your brand enough visibility that it makes it worthwhile for you to be there. Otherwise, you can say that, you know, I want 50% payment and I'll do 50% on barter basis just to cover your basic costs, because it can get quite expensive for you.
Yeah.
So you have to play this by, you know, depending on the situation.
Because usually these events, which...
why don't we, let's get some more questions in, but why don't you catch us after and we'll definitely give you some, I know how to help you with this.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, over here in the white jacket, maybe. Now I kind of want to eat a charcuterie board.
Cheese and crackers would be good.
Hi. So I actually come from the agency side of business. So I work with an influencer marketing agency. And we have multiple brands giving us briefs day in and day out, right? And a lot of them come from the same sector. So for example, we have Myntra or Nykaa Fashion coming to us. And we have those same list of influencers that we want to collaborate with. So looking at all of you talking about being relatable, being authentic. So how do you all look at, like, you know, not collaborating with competitors who are actually paying, like it's similar, but do you then pick and choose brands that resonate to you, or is it just that, you know, they've reached out to you and they're really big brands and you actually have to post content for them? So just wanted to understand that, do you all actually say no as well? Because we've got a lot of like rejections, but just wanted to hear from you all. Like any of you can answer that probably.
So I think first of all, in the influencer space, there is no competitors, and I think collaboration is the way the most influencers that have actually done really well have grown as well. From your side of this thing, it's from an agency perspective, it's always about the brand, right? Which influencer from your roster of influencers resonates the most with that brand, I think is the key question that you need to ask, right? And then from that roster, you have to keep. So one of the things that you don't want to do is for the same verticals of brands. Like if you've got beauty, you don't want to keep kind of rotating between the same influencers all the time, because then you're targeting the same demographic and the same audience of people, right? What you want to do is kind of rotate that. Where you have different brands and different influencers connected together. That's essentially what the job of an agency should be, right? It's not just getting, if they ask for 5, always getting the same 5, or always trying to get any 5. I think the idea should be that, right?
I think if you were to ask me honestly, do I say no? Yes and no. So money does matter. So if a big brand comes with a lot of money, I will obviously look at finances as well. But I do say no to certain things that I just cannot bring myself to promote. Like fairness creams, I just never do it, right? So I have rules set in place for that for sure. But at the end of the day, I will say I don't have a blanket thing that, oh, it's Nykaa, then it's Myntra. Because I, as an influencer, I don't only eat one kind of food every day, all week. So it's very possible that I shop at Nykaa and Myntra in reality. So it's quite okay for me to be working with both of them at the same time as well.
Thank you so much. Next question, please.
Hi, my name's Pallavi. I'm from the consumer side, and I've had meetings in the last 6 months. I would like to know, how is it that a consumer or a retailer identifies the best blogger or influencer to go ahead with their work? Do you work on the numbers, the followers? Do you work on the content? Or ultimately, does it all come down to conversion? Because in the multiple meetings I've had, we've been pitched different ideas. And from somebody who's outside the virtual world, it's quite difficult.
So it's actually quite simple. Well, not really quite simple, but it's simpler than you think it is. You cannot look at conversions if you're just doing one campaign, because that's impossible. Firstly, you have to convince your audience. So repetition and creating valuable content is important. Even if you're working with an influencer, if you think that one post is going to just set you up for life, it's not. So you have to come up with a plan that is more sustainable, number one. Number two, it's not so much about the number of followers, it's the type of followers. So what you have to do is you've got to get into the insights and ask the influencer, what is your demographic? What is the kind of follower reach you have? Where are these people? We get all that information in our back end. So we can be open books if our brands require it. So this is something you should definitely look at. For example, my age demographic, it starts at about, my highest age demographic is between 20 and 35. That is my strongest number, and then under. So that is the kind of market that I can bring to my brands. But if you go to someone who's got a more Gen Z audience and you're pitching a brand, but she's got a lot of followers, that person's not going to buy your product. So it's not about the numbers, it's about the type of followers and repetition.
Hi, good evening.
Yeah.
My question is for you, Ms. Malini. What was the idea behind setting up Ms. Malini?
What a great question. So it actually all happened quite by accident. Like I said, my column was Malini's Mumbai, because the radio station I worked for, Midday, also owned the newspaper. And because I used to do a drive time show called Horn OK Please from 6 to 9 p.m. for 9 years, they said, since Malini, you also on your radio show talk about lifestyle and parties and celebrity content, why don't you also write us a column of X amount of words every week? So I would be invited to these events, or page 3 parties as they were called back in the day, and I would document it. I would go and take pictures and write what happened and talk about that. So it basically, the first idea literally was to say, I would like to take this and be able to keep all the content that I wrote about and not just edit it down. And so I started a blog in 2008 because a friend of mine in Dubai said, why don't you start a blog? And I remember saying, what's a blog? And he said, it's like this online diary. And I said, but who reads it? And he goes, don't worry about it. And he made me a WordPress login. Funny story though, my mom up till 2 years ago told everyone, that I'm an internet blocker. She says ki everybody gets so much spam, even Manjulika Agarwal gets so much spam. Those celebrities ke paas to bahut spam aata hoga, so my daughter blocks their spam. So I just found this out like recently that she tells people this, but this is so hilarious. Internet blocker. So it took a while for people to understand. So there was no really idea behind it, but then the concept of this girl is kind of because I grew up all over the world, and when I was 9 years old, someone asked me, do you go to school on an elephant? And I was like, that would be amazing. Can you imagine? I would love that to rock up to school. But then I realized that there's a lot of ignorance, right? Because people watch National Geographic, they see Slumdog Millionaire, and they don't know the enterprise and what's happening in India. And when I moved back at the age of 17, I was blown away. When I moved to Bombay at 21, I was like, wow, there's entertainment and glitz and glam and fashion and culture and, everybody's hustling. So I wanted to document that. And I wanted to document the happy, shiny side of entertainment in Bollywood instead of the fashion policing or who's having an affair with who. I love Bollywood genuinely, and I love that people love what celebrities wear, where they go, what they eat, who they date, because they want to extend that 3-hour escape or dream. And I want to keep it that way, as opposed to build up people that you admire on the screen and then rip them apart. They're still human beings. So I wanted to create a platform like that. So I made myself a very simple rule, which is very strange in entertainment, that we will never write anything we can't say to someone's face. So 80% of the gossip I know I will never write. But it's really, it's just a happy, shiny, positive first brand for entertainment, and I'm glad people resonated.
One last question.
Hi, this is Rashi Biani here. I'm the co-founder of Bombay Farming Company. I would personally firstly like to thank Mitali, because when we started, we did send her a hamper. She did promote it on her page for free that time. And we did get an awesome, feedback from the customers, and we did get a lot of sales from her post and all that. So
I'm
yeah,
so
if
happy.
I think if influencers are authentic, like
No,
how
and
you
we do
said,
promote a lot of things. If we love things that people send, we 100% post it. So guys, don't.
Yeah, so that is what I'm
I
saying.
won't.
And it also depends on how authentic and genuine the influencer is. We've tried other influencers, but I'm telling you, her results were phenomenal. So yeah, part of my question, I think Pallavi already asked, but one more thing. I'm sure you guys have followers from around the world, pan-India, everywhere, right? We normally send influencers, like suppose I know her. So how many of the brands that you promote, like especially homegrown brands, if I'm in Hyderabad, can I also send it to you? And how many followers are that people who follow you are across? So like, do you do brand promotion which is from pan-India, or you have more followers from Bombay itself, which you see gets you better results? Or I mean, if I promote brand from Hyderabad and I send it to you, do you think you have people who follow you from here and get influenced too?
That's a great question, and I'm so glad, I can totally believe that Mitali's doing that post would really resonate. So for me personally, yes, our followers are pan-India, and we do have a large imprint in all the metros for sure. Since Miss Malini's content tends to be more English, I would say it's more tier 1. And so we're now trying to do more content in Hindi and different languages, regional languages as well. But it also, I think, depends product to product. So very often, if you have a product that is something that is, like for instance, if it's a perishable, right? And you have or you have something that's within an environment. So I do a lot of promotions for restaurants, bars, all of that. So then I would look at my hyper audience and see who would be the right people for me to call to something like this that works there. So we actually, after our acquisition with Good Glam Group, acquired a company called Viduli, which has really great statistics. So it can tell you this influencer has this much following, how many of them, how old, and where do they exactly live in that city. So absolutely there is, but from influencer to influencer, it would totally vary depending on your product. But there are also some products that you may want people in other cities to be talking about anyway, because that's a global marketing thing. But it really depends from product to product.
No, that I totally agree. My only thing was that do you get offers from brands which are not
Absolutely, yeah.
like Mitali, or you are not from Bombay and from other place, and do they convert? Like
They do convert. Also, then what we do is when, like for instance, I'm doing a series of Emily in Paris brunches, if you've seen my Instagram, and I'm doing them in Kolkata, I did one in Delhi, I did in Bombay. So we're doing different events in different cities because they're trying to target the local audience. And for that, I'm also inviting local influencers to use, to have them come and, be part of the experience, and then the amplification happens there as well. So yes, to answer your question, there is a percentage for sure. Definitely the majority would probably still be Bombay, India, not global, probably my city, but there are enough in the metros personally for my case.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for those wonderful answers. Can I now call Ms. Radha Dabriwal, Ms. Rupal Bansal, and Ankita Inani on stage with the autograph sheet, please? Today's session has been of digital platforms. We'd like to bring to your notice that the Digital Literacy Program at Flow and Why Flow is collaborating with Google and ISB. I would now like to request Ms. Ajita Reddy, National Head of Digital Literacy and IT Treasurer of Flow India, to come forward.
Thank you, everybody. This is absolutely extempore. This was not planned, but the way the conversation has been going on digital, marketing and social marketing, I did feel that this would be a good opportunity to speak about it. Basically, I head the National Digital Literacy Program from Delhi, of course. So we floated to all the chapters, all the 19 chapters. We have a two-pronged mission. One is to upskill members across the Flow chapters to empower them with the ability to turn their talent into a career, a means of income, and above all, a financial growth. We also want to generate micro and nano entrepreneurs for the country who will add to the nation's fiscal as well as the sociological development. Now, towards this National Digital Literacy Program, we have collaborated with Google, and this program is called DigiPivot. This is a program which Google does for three types of women. It's only for women, it's for 3 types of women. One is to bring back women who've gone out of the workforce. So if anybody has over 8 years of experience, but have taken a break from their careers, but want to come back, into a career of today's day and time, this is one of the program for them. The second one is for anybody who has under 18 years of experience and want to transition to a different line. This program is for them. And of course, for entrepreneurs. So this is a program which will benefit all 3 types of women. And this program, which Google is doing, is being offered to all Flow members, absolutely free of cost. This is a 80-hour program, which is in collaboration with ISB. So 50 hours of this learning will come from Google. 20 hours will come from the key speakers and faculty of ISB, and 10 hours will come from Avatar and Hindustan Unilever. Hindustan Unilever and Avatar will do a one-on-one mentorship program for you to understand how digital marketing works and how you can take it up as either a career, or maybe you are using the services of a digital marketing, platform, and you don't know what you can expect from them. So it's good that you at least understand what can you expect from them, and are they doing it in the right direction for your company. So these are the ways that we'll do. This program has already been launched. In fact, all the mails should have gone to you. We did a 2-hour program where all questions were answered about this program, but unfortunately, I did not see much participation from Hyderabad chapter. So I don't know if the mails have not reached you from Delhi, or whether there is no interest from your side. But then when I'm looking at the program today, I can see that there's tremendous amount of interest. So I'll see if we can request Ritu or Aarti to send this mail again. The last date for registering for this program is 8th of July. Honestly, if you were to do this program, this would cost you a couple of lakhs. But this is coming totally free and from the national chapter, from head office. So please, it's a very short application form which just asks you about how many years of experience you have, what is your, what direction is your business in, and 120 members will be selected for this program. The start date for this program is 19th of August, and the end date of the program, where you graduate and you get the Google certification for digital marketing, is 23rd of December. So this is about an 80-hour program. The program training will only happen on weekends, which is most probably starts on a Saturday morning towards Saturday evening. We try and avoid Sunday as much as possible because we understand it's family day and time. But a few days, it is a possibility that it will extend on Sundays too. So please, girls, register for this, take up this opportunity, don't lose out. I really want a lot of Hyderabadis, because my heart is in Hyderabad, although I'm now doing this for Delhi. My heart is in Hyderabad, so please do it for your own selves. And we will roll this out again, and do register for this program. 8th of July is the last date for registration. Right? Thank you so much.
Requesting Vice Chair Ms. Riddhi Jain to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As we come to the end of this inspiring session, I stand before you representing the esteemed FICCI YFlow Committee to extend a heartfelt gratitude to the leading lights who graced us with their presence today. It is with great honor that I express profound appreciation to the distinguished Ms. Malini Agarwal. Her story of blogging her way into Bollywood and being a massive force of influence on today's digital journey has definitely illuminated corners in our minds too. Joining her in our celebration of influential minds, we had the king of clubs, Mr. Rich Epen. Learning about capitalizing our social influence and understanding the concept of social currency was thoroughly engaging. Further, we offer our utmost admiration to the enchanting Ms. Mithali Patel, whose indomitable spirit has forged a legacy brand in entertainment and lifestyle. Her journey and experiences have left us all gasping with admiration. The do-it-all mother, the ambitious entrepreneur, and a much-admired fashion and lifestyle influencer. We express our heartfelt gratitude to our trailblazers for their precious time and appreciate the wealth of knowledge and wisdom each of them have bestowed upon us. In this era of social media marketing, we have received a treasure trove of insights that cannot be underestimated. Before I conclude, I must acknowledge and extend a heartfelt gratitude to our respected Flow and YFlow past chairs, whose unwavering presence has been a guiding light, fostering unity and solidarity within our ranks. We are indebted to our esteemed sponsors, our silver sponsor, Ori's Happy Dining, and Neeru's. Goodwill sponsor, Concap Capacitors, Agromac, Capco, and Pradhan Conventions, which is a state-of-art convention center located in Financial District, whose generosity has made today's event possible. A moment of deep appreciation must also be dedicated to our illustrious committee. It is their dedication, their burning passion, and their relentless pursuit of excellence that have transformed our vision into reality. To each member of our team, I extend my sincere thanks for your invaluable contribution and commitment. I humbly express our deepest gratitude to our cherished guests and esteemed members. Your presence has been the vital ingredient in making this evening a success. Lastly, we extend a heartfelt acknowledgement to our esteemed hospitality partner, The Park, our creative partner, We Digital, and press and media for your continued support and commitment. I sign off with an aspiration for all of us to forever be ambassadors of influence, shaping a world brimming with higher possibilities. Thank you. The floor is now open for high tea. Have a wonderful evening.